Hi YouTube. Um, I just saw this video on the news, and it's a older, intelligent white male who gets it. Who's been in the game for a while, understands politics, and I just want you to, because some of the stuff that he's talking about, I talk about too, but nobody wants to believe me. So don't take it from me. Take it from somebody. I mean, who knows?
And the Kamala Harris for President campaign got the very best news it could possibly get today on the first day of in-person early voting in Georgia. It was a record turnout for early voting in Georgia. Today's turnout beat the previous early voting turnout in Georgia in 2020. That early voting turnout record in Georgia 4 years ago led to the first Democratic presidential victory in Georgia in 32 years when Joe Biden won Georgia. Congressman Maxwell Frost was in Georgia today for the first day of early voting. He will join
And I'm
us
pretty
to
sure
report
Kamala's
what
going
he
to win
saw.
this election. But
Today's early
I still
voting
urge
is the
everyone to go out and vote.
strongest possible sign that we could get today.
I'm going to
Kamala
vote
Harris
tomorrow.
could be on her way to winning the state of Georgia's
I'm
16
going to vote early,
electoral
just
votes.
like these people
Donald
did.
Trump will, of course, try to overturn the election results if he loses the Electoral College. Donald Trump would once again target the states where the vote is close, like Georgia was last time. But the problem for Donald Trump this time is the very same Secretary of State who recorded Donald Trump's phone call to him in Georgia, which prosecutors have declared to be criminal, will still be in office.
I'm just going to pause it for a second because it was funny because he said if Trump lost Georgia like he did last time, he would try to go back and do some election fraud stuff. It's just funny that he actually said it though.
That same phone number. And Donald Trump will not dare call Georgia's Republican Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, once again with the same criminal conspiracy that got Donald Trump indicted in Georgia and in Washington, D.C., with Brad Raffensperger testifying against him in the grand juries. Donald Trump will have no luck calling the governor of Georgia, who is the very same Republican governor who refused to consider any of Donald Trump's crazed attempts to criminally interfere with the election results in Georgia 4 years ago. It is impossible to exaggerate just how important today was for the Harris campaign in Georgia. Imagine what the doomsday coverage would be tonight for the Harris campaign if the early voting numbers in Georgia were lower than they were 4 years ago when Joe Biden won Georgia. But it is possible to imagine what the coverage would be today if any presidential candidate in history, but especially an older one like Joe Biden, abruptly ended a so-called public town hall meeting by refusing to take any questions and then remaining silently on the stage for absolutely no reason for 39 minutes while moving, but not in a way that fits any definition of the word dancing, to his favorite musical hits, chosen by his campaign staff hurriedly to amuse him when they realized he was simply going to stay on the stage and let the music play instead of speaking. The Washington Post reports.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So this dude, Trump was at a rally, and he was supposed to be taking questions, speaking, and he just do like one of these sex workers at a P Diddy freak off, and just clench up and just be like, "Well, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing this no more. I ain't doing it. I'm done. I'm done. No more questions." He just quits because he didn't have any good answers. They was asking questions. They're gonna talk about it. He was asking questions about uh health care, child care, stuff like that, where he doesn't have a plan for that. So he just clenched up, butt cheeks just clenched up, Say, I ain't doing this no more. You go freak yourself off. And then for 39 minutes, he's supposed to be answering questions, giving a speech. He's up here just dancing. And what's funny is that they was like, we didn't know he was gonna like be dancing this whole time, or just we thought he was gonna be having a speech. So they are like scrambling to put up. The DJ is like scrambling to, just find a song. Hurry up, find a song. Just throw something up there. Just watch this, man.
Trump stayed in place on stage, slowly moving back and forth. He was done answering questions for the night. Some in the crowd began to leave. Some looked around, wondering whether he was done speaking for the night and how much longer the dance or sway session would last. Imagine.
Yo, hold on. Listen to this right here. Listen to this right here.
If Joe Biden had ever done that. Just imagine. The Atlantic said this: to watch the event is to see signs of someone having a breakdown. Trump's rally last night would force any reasonable person to conclude that he is not up to the grueling task of leading the world's greatest nation, handling economic crises, or dealing with foreign adversaries.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the important part. He's under pressure. He got tired of answering questions. He just give up. I ain't doing this no more. I'm done. Like, do you want somebody? You can't have someone like that as the president. You can't. His mental. They are questioning his mental integrity. There are therapists, psychologists that have a group of them that have come together, and they're saying that he is mentally unfit. That he's a sociopath, a narcissist, and has antisocial personality disorder. And they've are all in agreement, and they're like, he's mentally unfit to be the president. You can't have someone like that. He's gonna start a war with someone. They were talking about when he was in office, how he would, kind of like make threats, or they weren't sure if he was joking or not, but like about nukes and stuff like that, or how fast can I launch them off? Questions like that. Just watch this. Watch. He's gonna talk about it. They're gonna talk about it.
No one has ever explained why Donald Trump's most consistent favorite song ever played at his political rallies is the gayest song that any presidential candidate has ever decided to lose himself in.
Everyone said the gayest song to lose yourself into. Like, yo, I like this dude, this Lawrence dude that's on the news. He tell it like it is. Yeah, that's the gay. I mean, that is. It's just true. I mean, no offense to LGBTQ, but the gay people or whatever. I love y'all with a big HSV 1 and 2 herpes simplex virus donkey dick. I love y'all. But no offense to y'all. But that I mean, it's a gay song. Everybody know that shit. Everybody know that shit. And he talk about he just lost himself in that shit though.
Stage.
That dude is this dude is hilarious.
Village People released YMCA in 1978. It instantly became a joyous anthem to gay America that was musically uplifting and fun to dance to for everyone, including millions of people who actually had no idea.
They had no idea it was
just
gay.
How gay the song was. Yesterday, Donald Trump seemed to have no idea.
They just didn't know how gay it was at the time.
While drowning in the sound of a 46-year-old song, released when Donald Trump was a 32-year-old, leaning against the wall of New York nightclubs, watching people who could really dance while YMCA was playing.
Look, homegirl up there, girls up there like, look, we just here for the check, man. This man's supposed to be giving a speech. He's supposed to be answering questions right now. Fuck boy, fucking off.
Down and out with the blues, I felt no man cared if I were alive.
Young man. That's what the song is about. The YMCA and a young man.
Sound like some P. Diddy shit going on there.
Standing on the stage last night, just drowning in the glory of it all. Kamala Harris's reaction to all of that was to say, hope he's okay.
I hope he's
At a rally
okay.
in Pennsylvania today, Vice Presidential candidate Tim Walz said this.
I don't know if some of you saw this. Donald Trump was doing a town hall. He took a few questions from the audience, totally botched those because they were things that weren't that important to him, like health care and child care, so he wouldn't have any, concept of a plan. But he got a little bit tired. If you didn't see this, I would not usually encourage you, but we're doing it now. Go watch this guy right now and go watch these rallies or this town hall. He stopped taking questions and stood frozen on stage for 30 minutes while they played his Spotify list to people. Do you think he knows the story behind the YMCA song?
Look. They eating his ass up on this shit.
Tim Walz said, it could be funny, but it really isn't.
But it really ain't, though.
If this was your grandfather, you would take the keys away. You would take
Say
the keys
words,
away.
son.
And I
Say
tell you
words.
this, it would be funny if this guy were not running for president of the United States. And we'll...
Damn right. Damn right. This shit serious, bruh. This motherfucker is on the ballot to be the president. And you got motherfuckers that's gonna vote for this clown, yo.
It would be funny if you knew that this guy, if he shuts down like he did last night, you know he's doing that when he's sitting in the Situation Room.
The Trump campaign staff, all of whom disgrace themselves every day
Butt
by
cheeks
lying
clenching
every
up.
day, every bit as much as Donald Trump does, issued the following
I ain't
line
doing it no
today,
more.
trying to defend Donald Trump's obviously diminished mental capacities, saying Donald Trump, quote, has more energy and more stamina than anyone in politics and is the smartest leader this country has ever seen. The truth, of course, is the opposite, because he is the laziest person currently practicing politics in America, and he is by far the stupidest president this country or any country.
Thank you.
has ever
Thank
seen.
you. Thank you.
Today, Donald Trump did another one of those
Clarifying that.
appearances in front of stupid rich people at another big city economic club.
We all
This
in
time,
agreement.
it was the Economic Club of Chicago, where Donald Trump obviously had some supporters in the audience who support him simply because of two words: tax cuts. But his problem today was
They
that
don't
his
know.
questioner was not just another stupid rich person. His questioner was Bloomberg editor-in-chief John Micklethwait, who knows more about economics than Donald Trump ever will, and that was on painful display for the economically illiterate presidential candidate today.
Now, this is what I want y'all to hear. This is an economics major, okay? No, look, this is what I've been trying to tell y'all. I took economics. I took business, legal economics, or whatever for like at least 3 years at Fayetteville State. And I took another 3-4 years of nursing and biology, pre-med stuff at Methodist College. I have 9 years of college under my belt, at least. And then I went and got 2 degrees later on. That was in some other field, applied science and stuff. This is what I'm saying. Listen to this guy. Because I've been trying to say, people blame Biden for the inflation. It's all Trump's fault. Who made the tariffs? Listen to this shit.
Up all the promises you've made, and your plans would add $7.5 trillion to the debt. That's more than twice the total for Vice President Harris. You're on course to push up debt up to 150% of GDP. This is a very business-like audience.
Yeah.
Why should they trust you with that?
Because we're about growth. She's got no growth whatsoever, and we're all about growth. To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff, and it's my favorite word.
Tariffs also have another side. Isn't that something that you have to acknowledge?
No.
You could be plunging America into the biggest trade war.
Trade war.
But there are no tariffs.
You're going to stop. There are tariffs already.
No,
at the
there are
moment.
no tariffs. All you have to do is build your plant in the United States, and you don't have any tariffs. It must be hard for you to, spend 25 years talking about tariffs as being negative, and then have somebody explain to you that you're totally wrong.
Critics say your tariffs will end up being like a national sales tax.
But he's wrong, though.
the country
Trump
had
is
a-
wrong.
The countries will pay.
No,
It is a national
no.
sales tax, and Donald Trump's questioner was so flooded.
Let
with
this man
economic
break it
idiocy
down
by
for you.
Donald Trump that he never actually took the time to stop and point out to Donald Trump that the only country
Thank
that
you.
can
He didn't point it out,
possibly
but he about to point it out for you. Listen to this shit now.
pay American tariffs is America, meaning American voters, American consumers. Like all countries, the United States of America only has legal authority to collect money from its own residents. So when Donald Trump puts a 20% tariff or a 60% tariff or a 100% tariff or in some cases a 200% tariff that he's talking about on a product coming into this country, the country sending us the product does not pay that tariff.
Does not
one
pay
penny.
that.
The person buying the product in the United States, that American, pays the tariff.
Thank you.
So that car
Thank
you
you.
want to buy costs 20% more, even if it was made in the United States. Or that pair of shoes costs more, or that washing machine, or those clothes for your kids.
What did Donald Trump do? The first thing he said he was going to do, 100% tariffs on China. That created 100% inflation. You know, they got cars in China right now, electric cars that cost like $4,000. If they do start coming over here, which they don't even want to import those vehicles, because even with 100% tariff, 100% inflation, that car will only be $8,000. It will, they want a trade war with China because they can't compete with China, because it'll drive every American auto business out of business. You understand? I want y'all, see, I do my research. If you go look up the Canton Fair, China's Canton Fair, during Obama's, when the economy was at its greatest ever, white businessmen, and they'll tell you, if you watch the videos for the Chinese Canton Fair, they will tell you it used to be a lot of Europeans and Americans. But ever since Trump got in the office and they did 100% tariffs, the white people stopped coming. And China, it hurt them economically. And they say, we want to do business, but you have to talk to your president. That's what they're saying on these videos. You know, look at the Chinese Canton Fair, and like recently compared to, 10 years ago, before Trump. Look at the statistics, the numbers, have people talk, the people are talking about it. I mean, they talk about it. If you just watch the videos and listen to these people, the Asians, they'll tell you about it in just about every video, especially if the guys are asking, how is business going and stuff like that. It hurt them economically. It did, because a lot of people went out of business too when Trump came into office, not just because of COVID, but the 100% tariffs hurt a lot of people, because I mean, what it did is it doubled the price of imports from China, which then now American businesses don't have to price compete really. If they could charge higher prices, because now, they're beating the Chinese imports because of the 100% tariff, because the price of their product doubled. So now they have more leverage where, they can, charge more money and still beat the Chinese imports. And then a lot of times they don't even import the Chinese stuff anymore. Or they try to say, oh, we're going to keep jobs in America, manufacturing jobs. It's not helping nobody when they're charging, twice as much as the Chinese stuff. Who is that helping? You might have 700 people to get a manufacturing job in one little city. You might have 1,000 people to get a manufacturing job in another city. But it is hurting billions of people. Everybody got to eat the shit sandwich in America. Every American got to pay. Every American has to pay. We all getting fucked. We all getting taxed. We all paying higher prices. We all dealing with inflation. Just so 700 people, 800 people, maybe 2,000 people in another city can have a manufacturing job so we can make products in America. So that's what? That's still less than 10,000. That ain't nowhere near 1 million. And we got millions of people that are having to pay for the inflation, that are dealing with the inflation. We are all getting fucked. We are all eating the shit sandwich together on that bullshit that they sold you, talking about, oh, we're going to make America great, keep manufacturing jobs here, and, you know, we're going to do it by start a trade war with China. First thing we're going to do, 100% tariffs. That was 100% inflation. That is all Trump's fault. And Biden didn't do a damn thing about it, though. Biden could have went back to the Obama era stuff, and he could have at least lowered the tariffs. That would have took care of the inflation. That's all it is. Let's proceed though. This video is almost over.
That comes from another country. Those all go up. Those prices all go up. The price of every single product in the United States would go up, including products like cars made here in the United States, because products made in the United States need supplies from other countries to make those products. There is no such thing anymore as a so-called American-made car.
That 100% tariff is making the prices go up. That is the reason, the cause for inflation. It's not Bidenomics. It's Trump's fault.
The very largest percentage of American-made parts are only 75% American. 25% of that car is imported from other countries, including virtually all of those backup cameras that you're now addicted to. Donald Trump wants to raise the price of every car in America through tariffs because he does not know that cars made in America include a substantial percentage of foreign parts.
You have America at the moment has $3 trillion worth of imports. You're going to add tariffs to every single one of them. That is going to push up the cost for all those people who want to buy foreign goods.
Now, what's going to happen?
Simple mathematics, President Trump.
It's not. It
is simple mathematics,
you
bro.
Figured. I was always very good at mathematics.
You can put that down as another Trump lie.
Thank you,
I was always very good
dumbass.
at mathematics.
That nigga clown, yo. He be lying to y'all in y'all face, and y'all don't even be catching this shit.
Something the Justice Department did yesterday.
Y'all don't even.
Where
I ain't gonna say nothing bad. I ain't gonna be mean.
Cleaned up its voter rolls.
Mine is a terrible thing to waste, though.
Thousands of bad votes.
Go to school, go to college, further your
Department
education. That's all I'm gonna say about
that.
that.
They should be allowed to put those bad votes and illegal votes back in, and let the people vote. So I haven't gotten over that. A lot of people have seen that. They can't even believe it.
The question is about Google, President Trump.
He's a clown.
A clown.
Answer questions and
answer
questions in interviews, and it seems
that
finally the American news media has come to realize that these Donald Trump interviews are fraudulent, that he does not answer questions, that lies are not answers. That seems to have finally sunken in. Donald Trump admitted
some of
his
y'all
defeat
still following this clown, though. Some of y'all just
in what is
I don't know, man.
Purely Trumpian form of acknowledging that he is losing. He attacked.
You can't fix stupid. You can't fix stupid. I'm sorry.
2 weeks to go to the election. Will you commit now?
That's why you got people still following him
and encouraging a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, you had a peaceful transfer of power.
You had a peaceful transfer of power. You had a peaceful. Come on, President Trump. You had a peaceful transfer of power compared with Venezuela, but it was by far the worst transfer of power for a long time.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because
it was the first time we ever had an incident,
this is what they like to do.
An issue with the transfer of power.
And
We've never had, in a democracy, there should not ever be an issue with transferring power from one president to another. That's the whole concept of a democracy.
Do I do this interview or not? I'm glad I did it. But do I do this interview, or do I disappoint a lot of people? Because I know a lot of people in the audience. But his view is very different than mine.
I'm glad I did it. You can put that down as another Trump lie. Today, Kamala Harris went to Detroit.
When they were talking about transfer of power, we have never had an issue with transfer of power. You know, when Al Gore lost to what was it, George Bush, and it was real close in Florida, just like it was in Georgia with Trump and Biden. You didn't see Al Gore, having no insurrection or recount, revote, and all this, drama and shit like Trump did. See, when you got somebody in a democracy, the people have spoken. Once you cast your vote, that's who's elected president. Boom, that's supposed to be. If somebody challenges that, that's like a dictatorship. Trump was trying to be a dictator, simply by his actions. Those were actions of a dictator someone who did not want to give up power, who was like, I'm going to keep power, I'm going to take power. That is a dictator. A dictator.
To do a
that is not
radio
democracy.
Town hall interview with the popular host Charlemagne the God.
The needs of the black community are not just about criminal justice.
We need that money.
It's about, because here's the thing. We have brought down black unemployment, I said this earlier, to one of the lowest levels in history. But I'm very clear. The community is not going to stand up and applaud just because everybody has a job. That should be a baseline. My agenda is about tapping into the ambitions and the aspirations, knowing that folks want to have an opportunity. If they want, they should have a meaningful opportunity to build wealth, including intergenerational wealth. And that's my agenda. There is so much at stake, whether America is going to stand on its principles around the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity and stand with our allies around the world, or whether we're going to admire dictators and send, during the height of COVID and the pandemic, COVID tests that nobody could get to the president of Russia for his personal use when black people were dying every day by the hundreds during that time.
Yeah, I feel like that one has gone over people's heads. The fact that he was sending COVID tests to Putin.
Listen to that shit, man.
I invite your listeners, the people we know, the number of people who lost their grandparents and parents. Remember what that was like during the height of COVID, and a lot of it, people were scrambling for the resources and needed tests. And Donald Trump, during that time, secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia. The man is really quite weak. He's weak.
That shit is fuck. Now, y'all remember, he won't even talk about, is he talking to Putin right now? He probably is. They had this little bromance at the beginning of his presidency. And if you remember, right before Trump was elected president, when he had gone against all 50 other Democratic presidential candidates, man, he had us the most presidential candidates I ever seen in my life. So by the time, we got down to coming to pick a president, everybody was divided, who we wanted as a president for a Democratic candidate. And then, they finally got down to somebody. I don't know. I wanted Bernie Sanders, though. It was, whatever. So anyway, when they got Trump, though, when he was, he fucked up during COVID, though. He fucked up. And, don't nobody want to bring this shit up because it never happened before as a pandemic. But, people was dying. People was, scrambling, trying to get resources because, they got their moms and their fathers and their brothers, sisters, their husbands and wives. They don't know. We don't know if they got COVID or not. We don't know if they sick. We can't get a fucking test. The line got them 2, 3, 4 miles. You might not make it there. Bitch, I'll be dead. You know what I'm saying? Before I make it to the front of the line. So, we need to know this shit now. But, he over here giving away our resources during a state of emergency. During a state of emergency when we are dying. That's how much you care about American people. You got everybody over here dropping like flies. This motherfucker gonna goddamn give your resources and stuff, your life-saving resources to supposedly who is the enemy. I mean, I don't think, I don't try to look at any other country as an enemy at all. But, Russia was interfering with the election, spreading a lot of information in favor of Trump right before he got elected.
It's a sign
You
of
researched
weakness
that. I already
that
did.
you want to
That's
please
why I told you.
dictators and seek their flattery and favor. It's a sign of weakness that you would demean America's military and America's service members. It's a sign of weakness that you don't have the courage to stand up for the Constitution of the United States and the principles upon which it stands. This man is weak and he is unfit. It's two very different visions for our nation. One mind that is about taking us forward and progress and investing in the American people, investing in their ambitions, dealing with their challenges. And the other, Donald Trump, is about taking us backward.
The other is about fascism. Why can't we just say it?
Yes, we can say that.
The Harris campaign released this ad yesterday featuring our first guest tonight, Republican Mayor John Giles of Mesa, Arizona.
In cities like mine, folks look out for each other. They put their community first. I'm a lifelong Republican, but I've always put country over party. And I know Donald Trump's second term would be all about himself. That's why, like so many other Republicans, I cannot support Donald Trump. Kamala Harris and I may not agree on everything, but I do know that she will always put country first. If we're going to make progress as a country, we have to have an adult in the White House. That's why I'm supporting Kamala
A
Harris.
fucking adult in the White
Kamala
House.
Harris and I approve this message.
Bruh, look. A lot of people, you know what I'm saying? I've been trying to say this shit. A lot of people don't want to believe me. But I just want to say thank you, MSNBC, for that wonderful, informative, and brilliant newscast. With all the fact checking and everything like that. Mr. Lawrence, you did a great job. And you know, if he's ever telling news, I can trust it and I can believe it. That, you know, the shit that's coming out of his mouth is not BS, it's real. You know, they fact check. They know what they're talking about. They're not just, it's not Fox News. Fox News is not a news station. It's my opinion about the news. My white privileged opinion about the news. How does my white privilege perspective, how do I feel about these immigrants? You know, how do I feel about this inflation? I'm mad. It's my white privileged biased view. That's what Fox News is. It's not the news. It's my white privileged opinion about what's going on. You know, you need to know the difference between telling the news, which is just stating the facts, and then stating, you know, how white people feel about, you know, a topic. That's the difference between Fox News and real news stations. Okay? So thank you, MSNBC. I love y'all. Please get out there and vote. Tomorrow, October 17th, it is first day early voting in Cumberland County, North Carolina. And you know what I'm saying? I'm going out this week. I'm going to vote. You know what I'm saying? I always do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm an American. I'm a patriot. And, you know, my grandparents, they was in the military. You know what I'm saying? They fought in wars. My dad was in Vietnam when he was 17 years old. You know, so he joined Vietnam, became a flight officer. He was in fucking Vietnam flying helicopters at 17 years old, a warrant officer. My grandfather, he was in World War II, shooting at Japanese kamikazes in Pearl Harbor. You know what I'm saying? When they went and attacked, he was an Air Force pilot, fighter pilot. So my parents, my grandfather and my father, they were both flight officers. Well, my grandfather was Air Force, my father was military. You know what I'm saying? Both of them fought in wars. You know what I'm saying? They fought for freedom. You know what I'm saying? How many fucking wars did Wonder Bread Trump fight in? You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. I'm just saying, you should vote, man. People fought for your freedom and your right to vote, and you should exercise, you know what I'm saying, your right to vote. It's the American thing to do, you know?